Nice work. I think you may be right about this.
Well, we'll never know, will we?
What?
It's not science, Hugh.
Yeah, definitely not science what we do here. Today we're going to take a look at one of my favorite marketing TV shows called Mad Men and one of their campaigns. I want to show you some marketing principles that have worked back in the 60s, which you can apply even today. I'll also give you an estimate of what that campaign may cost today, so stick around until the end. Welcome to the brand new show where I'll show you how to create an awesome digital brand that people will love without overwhelming your marketing department with all the things you supposedly have to do. Without further ado, let's jump right into the Belle Jolie campaign from the first season of Mad Men.
Hi, fellas. Come on in.
Belle Jolie.
Yeah, I've been looking at the work of our esteemed predecessors. I'm not heartened. They make more colors of lipstick than Howard Johnson has ice cream flavors, but their sales are in the crapper.
What the guys from Mad Men are pointing out is that the ads of Belle Jolie are featuring way too many products. There's a saying in marketing that goes, if you are trying to talk to everybody, nobody's going to listen. Which totally applies to the ads shown here. That's also the reason why you should be crystal clear in your audience definition as discussed in my last video. Whenever you take the shotgun approach and spread your message to everyone, you will waste your budget and will see bad results. That's also the reason why traditional marketing channels like TV and radio have lost their appeal to most companies as digital channels have replaced them. Targeting your audience with the right ad is just so much easier and effective when you know exactly who you are talking to. What surprised me about this scene is that the senior copywriter only gets involved after the deal has been made. My experience is that the senior personnel who will probably work on the project gets involved already during the pitch to the client. This significantly increases your chances of landing the client and is very common, especially in already established agencies. Oh, random fact, did you know that lipstick was invented to simulate the flush in a woman's face after you treated her right?
If you're gonna quote the research report, don't start with "did you know."
Alright, no need to be condescending and hurtful, man.
Research? I'm stumped. I'll be honest, I don't speak moron. Do either of you speak moron? Let's throw it to the chickens.
Okay, girls, come on in. Come on then, ladies, gather around. Settle down.
What, no lunch?
No, dear, this is better. Belle Jolie wants us to tell them what we think about their new line of lipsticks.
In this scene, we can see the typical setup for focus group testing. Those were popular until the invention of the internet and digital media recording. You would pile up a whole group of your potential target audience and ask them to try out your product and pay them to get their feedback. In the next few scenes, you can see that the mirror is a one-way mirror with the guys from the office sitting on the other side. This setup was used to observe the target audience in their natural environment. At least that's what it was supposed to be, because people behave completely differently when they are being observed. Psychology calls that the Hawthorne effect. The Hawthorne effect is extremely strong and impacts everyone daily. When you know that your boss has traffic monitoring installed on your computer, you won't do any private stuff with your work PC or Mac. Another example is when you drive more carefully when you see a cop car. The Hawthorne effect is also the reason why focus groups aren't as popular anymore. Turns out the results from focus groups are rarely reliable to predict the actual market performance of a product. When you ask participants from a focus group if they would buy the product, 90% will say yes to please the interviewer and potentially be invited to other focus groups. If you present the product and say, okay, it's $9.99, go grab your wallet, the majority will not buy the product. These days, getting real feedback from customers is much easier than these classical setups. You can create a landing page for an unfinished product with tools such as unbounce.com, drive traffic to it with Google or Facebook ads, and get real interaction and conversion data. One thing that may not be true in this scene is that the chickens do not know about these focus groups. When you work in an agency for more than 1 month, you know pretty well what's going on. Most employees would actually wait for these events to get a break from their work routines. These employees would actually have a higher incentive to please the interviewer to keep their jobs. So these focus groups would be a total waste of time.
There are no wrong answers. You just be your pretty little selves. Grab a lipstick, grab a mirror, and sit down.
Keep that scene in mind for later. The box of lipsticks will play a big role later on.
One-way glass. That name seem weird to you? Should be two-way glass, right?
I don't care what they call it. Beats the hell out of X-ray specs. They're brainstorming.
I wouldn't expect more than a few sprinkles.
Oh, I love it when they do that. My little blue fish.
Anybody mind if I take off my pants?
You should have put a man in there so they take it seriously.
Yeah, that's the aforementioned one-way mirror or glass, but oh boy, times have changed. Today you can be certain that this behavior would result in a long talk with HR. While the corporate world has become a bit too sensitive about some issues, this type of behavior can lead down a slippery slope which could end in actual sexual harassment or worse. Back then, it was perfectly normal, while hard to imagine from today's point of view. The show takes place before any feministic organizations were founded, so this scene could have happened just like that in real life. While the marketing industry is dominated by women today, the senior roles as seen in Mad Men are still occupied by men. While it's unlikely that today's executives would come together to smoke and drink to watch a focus group, it's still the reality that such a room of superiors would be dominated by men.
Well, now we have to count the shades they tried. Can you bring me those tissues, dear?
Here's your basket of kisses.
Basket of kisses. That's cute. Who told you that?
What do you mean?
Where'd you hear that?
I just thought of it. Isn't that what it is?
It is, sweetheart. Which color did you like?
I didn't get the one I liked. Someone took my color.
Why didn't you choose another one?
I'm very particular.
As opposed to the other girls?
I don't know. I don't think anyone wants to be one of 100 colors in a box. I think that's enough complaining. Why don't you head back to your desk, Peggy?
I love that scene. On the one hand, it shows the surprise of Freddie Rumsen that a woman could come up with an idea like that. On the other hand, we can see how marketing ideas are being born. Freddie tries to understand the motivation of how his target audience picks a product. Even though in real life it's rarely as easily digestible as in the show, you always need to understand your audience's motivation. Why is a customer interested in your product and how does it make their life better? It helps to look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the 5 levels of Maslow's pyramid. The bottom 2 layers are the basic needs that you need to survive. The next 2 levels focus on our psychological needs like intimate relationships and friendships or prestige. The top of the pyramid is self-actualization. When Freddie asked about which color Peggy picked and she replied that she was very particular and didn't want to be one of 100 colors in a box, she was addressing 2 psychological layers at once. While lipsticks are used to attract a potential mate, Peggy doesn't want to attract any other mate, but she wants the right one. 2 factors may play a role in that statement. She may either be worried about her status and wants to climb the pyramid to the next level by attracting a status increasing mate, or she may be worried about mate retention and keeping her mate. Peggy wants to send a signal with her choice of lipstick other than it looks good.
Your girl, full of surprises. Oh, pretty Peggy Sue.
Peggy? You say so. I try to avoid eye contact to avoid being blinded by the earnestness.
Actually, she really stood out, brainstorming-wise.
Brainstorming. Sorry I missed that.
What was the line?
A bucket of kisses.
Basket of kisses.
Bucket sounds better.
If you like them wet and sloppy. Point is, while the rest of the hens were busy pulling out each other's feathers, that one saw the benefit, not the feature.
Really?
Yeah. She said she didn't want to be one of 100 colors in a box. That's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
She saw the benefit and not the feature. While this may have several ways for interpretation, this perfectly harmonizes with my approach. The feature is never as important as the benefit or the story your product tells and how it improves the life story of your customers.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Draper has you in early, huh? What's he up to?
I don't know. I kind of came in for myself.
Okay.
Honestly, I couldn't sleep. I'm just filled with nerves.
What do you have to be nervous about?
Nothing. Just I think Mr. Rumsen is presenting my copy today. To the Belle Jolie people.
A thing like that.
It's always exciting to have your work presented or presented yourself, but especially at the beginning of my career, those days were special. I still love meeting clients and presenting reports and audits, but those first few clients you'll probably never forget. I still remember mine.
As simple as e pluribus unum. From many, one. From many shades of lipstick, one that belongs to her. From a basket of kisses, she picks one. It makes her unique. It colors her kiss. And her kiss, well, it colors her man. Belle Jolie lipstick. Mark your man.
Brilliant campaign, to be honest. Completely plays into the mate retention psychological factor. From today's point of view, the slogan doesn't make sense since our society has more independent women. You don't need to mark your man, as infidelity isn't as widespread as it used to be in the 60s. Women also aren't as reliant on men for their well-being anymore, which I think is a good thing. For the 60s though, this campaign would have been revolutionary. The team around Freddie Rumsen and Don Draper made an excellent job of refocusing their ads from showing all the different shades of lipsticks to highlighting the story of the woman. They show how the life of the consumer will change when they buy Belle Jolie lipsticks. They sell the story and not the feature. In their ads, the consumer is the hero of the ad and not the lipstick and its features. Just look at the proportions and how the woman and scenes from her life occupy the majority of the ad space as compared to the old ads. Even though this is all fictional, these two ads perfectly represent how top marketers and businesses think differently. Refocusing your ads from showing your broad range of products to showing your customers using the product would work even today. Just look at the websites of outdoor gear companies. There's a reason why they show their products in action when you first visit their website. They want to show the stories that are possible with their products. It's not just because design rules demand to have people in their pictures or anything like that. But now we have the typical objection by the client.
I only see one lipstick in your drawing. Women want colors. Lots and lots of colors.
I always hated that part. You come up with a brilliant strategy and do what you're hired for, but someone from your client thinks they know it all. In this case, it's the CEO, but this happens on all levels. I like constructive feedback, but here it's completely destructive, just because it's not how we used to do it. If you're only just starting your career, you can't imagine how many promising projects die in the corporate world because a lot of people don't remember what Einstein said. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Good thing Don Draper is here to save the day.
I'm not telling you to listen to anyone, but this is a very fresh approach.
It's okay, Kenny. I don't think there's much else to do here, but call it a day. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Is that all?
You're a non-believer. Why should we waste time on kabuki?
I don't know what that means.
It means that you've already tried your plan and you're number 4. You've enlisted my expertise and you've rejected it to go on the way you've been going. I'm not interested in that. You can understand.
Man, in this instance, I wish Don Draper was my superior. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of salesmen and agency partners are like that. Most of the time, people are too afraid to lose a big account instead of being completely honest with their client. Most of the time though, honesty would be just what the client needs to hear. Maybe this whole speech could have been a bit more diplomatic. At the same time, Draper is completely right. Why should he waste time on kabuki, which is a form of Japanese theater? The worst clients are those that don't believe in what you're doing, but go with you anyway because of some other weird reason like prestige from working with you. They will never pay enough for the trouble they cause, and most of the time are the most unprofitable ones you have. So I can see the point of Draper here.
I don't think your 3 months or however many thousands of dollars entitles you to refocus the core of our business.
Listen, I'm not here to tell you about Jesus. You already know about Jesus. Either he lives in your heart or he doesn't. Every woman wants choices. But in the end, none wants to be one of 100 in a box. She's unique. She makes the choices and she's chosen him. She wants to tell the world he's mine. He belongs to me, not you. She marks her man with her lips. He is her possession. You've given every girl that wears your lipstick the gift of total ownership.
Sit down.
No. Not until I know I'm not wasting my time.
Sit down.
This is the whole point of the Belle Jolie campaign. In essence, with this one campaign, they will change the narrative of the entire company. Belle Jolie will no longer sell lipsticks, but marketing icons. You can compare this fictional campaign to Nike's Just Do It campaign. For Nike, Just Do It symbolized moving away from highlighting product features like the air cushion of their shoes. For Belle Jolie, it would mean instead of showing the whole product range, they'd show just one killer use case. The use case would be a problem that women weren't aware it existed, and the solution to that problem at the same time. They have just created their own category of lipsticks for women in a relationship instead of lipsticks for everyone.
Know how to get back to the Roosevelt? We could have someone
And now
walk
the
you
cringe
over,
of
or
the
just
final goodbye.
meet you if you're interested.
Pressure comes off and everybody acts like a decent human being.
Although it
again.
is a place to get into trouble.
No, you know we wouldn't steer you wrong.
Nice work. I think you may be right about this.
Well, we'll never know, will we?
What?
It's not science, Hugh.
Yeah, definitely not science what we do here. Definitely not science.
Peggy, ice! We'll need some.
Should I just put it down? How much ice?
How do you take it?
Home run, ballerina.
Go ahead, before Joan Holloway sees.
You call that celebrating?
This is by far my favorite scene from the entire Belle Jolie campaign. Peggy gets recognized for her part in the job. That's something which would have been very uncommon in the advertising industry in the 60s. Even today, giving praise to someone else's work isn't that common, and it's even worse for female co-workers. That is why the scene is so wholesome to me, since it also shows how business can be good too. It also opens a whole new trajectory for Peggy and is the beginning of her story arc. If you haven't watched Mad Men yet, you definitely should binge it on Amazon or most other streaming services. It's only 7 seasons, that'll take what, a week? Oh, I still owe you a price tag for a traditional campaign for Belle Jolie in today's day and age, don't I? The CEO of Belle Jolie said they had been working 3 months on the project. Sterling Cooper, the agency of Mad Men's first season, has their seat in Manhattan, so they will charge top prices, something around $3,000 to $5,000 per day for senior staff. They had Freddie Rumsen and Salvatore Romano as seniors, or in today's work titles, head-offs on this project. Ken Cosgrove as junior or regular, and Peggy as junior support, with Don Draper coming in periodically, but probably not as a billable resource. Then there would be some designers on the project to create the different posters. Depending on the account size, Freddie and Salvatore would probably be billed for 60% of their time during those 3 months. Meanwhile, they would work another 50 to 60% on other projects on top of their other tasks. Yes, that's consulting math. Ken may even be billed as full-time and handle the majority of communication with the client and organizing, focus groups and so on. I assume Peggy would be billed for about 10% of her time and one designer for 50% of their time. The project length of 3 months is about 60 working days in total. Freddie's and Salvatore's 60% equal 36 working days at $5,000 per day, costing a total of $180,000. Ken's lower junior daily rate would be around $2,500, but his full-time billing would also amount to $150,000. Peggy's and the designer's daily rate would be around $1,500, and they would cost $54,000 combined. Therefore, the agency staffing cost then comes down to $384,000. But don't forget about the 10% expense account, so we're at roughly $425,000 in agency fees for only the first 3 months. Continuous support for this specific campaign will be around $20,000 to $40,000 per month, new campaigns not included. Today, you may still run classical print ads in fashion magazines. Full-page ads cost between $3,000 and $170,000 depending on circulation. For Belle Jolie, it would make sense to work with only the biggest fashion magazines. They have slightly lower circulation but also demand higher prices due to their clearly defined target audience. Let's assume that they will charge around $100,000 per full-page ad. We will want to have 1 full-page ad and 2 quarter-page ads, potentially especially next to an article, which are more expensive than regular ads next to other ads. That means our print budget would be around $160,000 per magazine per monthly issue. Let's say we'll advertise with the top 5 magazines for the entire year, which will also get us a bit of a discount of maybe 20% because we're such great customers. $160,000 times 5 times 12 equals $9.6 million. With our discount, we'll end up paying $7,680,000 on print ads. TV ads will be the most expensive part of this campaign. If you go for primetime national ad slots, they will cost you on average $125,000 per million viewers for a 30-second commercial. For a bigger marketing push, you will want to have around 4 ad slots per hour to repeat your message multiple times. That means you spend $500,000 for only 1 primetime hour on 1 channel. Let's say we want to advertise on 4 major channels. That means you have just spent $2 million on only 1 hour. In the first month of introducing your new commercials, you want to be as visible as possible. That means 3 hours per day of primetime national ad slots combined with some local channels, which are less expensive at $20,000 per channel. But since there are more of these smaller channels, you will pay $250,000 per hour as well. Why not make it $500,000 and get double exposure on these channels? At $2.5 million per day times 30, you are looking at $75 million for your first month. From there, you may want to throttle down a bit and spend maybe $20 million per month. Radio is a bit less expensive, but will still cost $100,000 to $200,000 per city per year. Radio spots in New York, for instance, cost between $4,000 to $8,000 per week, where prices depend on seasons like election season or Christmas being the most expensive ones. Assuming we want to be present in the top 25 cities in the US with an average of $150,000 per city and year, we'll be looking at $3.75 million per year. You would also have to have proper marketing tracking in place, which will cost another $100,000 plus per year on such a large-scale campaign. If Belle Jolie wants to go the traditional shotgun marketing approach that most conventional cosmetic and fashion companies follow even today, you would have to spend at least $300 million to make any noticeable impact on the market. Pretty heavy price tag if you ask me. And of course there's always this one company that has achieved more for less, but this is the average cost for such a traditional campaign. That's also one of the reasons why so many companies are shifting to more flexible budgets and lower startup costs with digital marketing channels. If you are interested in how a modern digital heavy campaign for Belle Jolie could look like, let me know in the comments and I'll do another video on Belle Jolie from that perspective. For now, you may enjoy my previous video on how to define your target audience, or wait for next week when the video about defining your very own business category comes out. Remember to subscribe, click on whatever you like that has thumbs, and maybe make the bells ring if that's something you're into. Until next time, and continue to be awesome. See ya!
Did I miss something?
No.